Hello, and welcome to
Hola.
Navigating to Success. I am your host, Certified Focal Point Business and Executive Coach Jeff Carlton, and I'm really excited today to have Amber Pacheco-Holm on, who's the CEO of Cyber Reaper. Not as spooky as you might think, but for Halloween, we're going to make it that way. So, Amber, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. So let's dive right into it and tell me about Cyber Reaper and what you do.
Um, well, Fiber Reaper is a fiber optic splicing clamp that my husband invented. We manufacture them here in Kalispell, Montana, and it's a tool that fiber optic splicers use in the field to secure their fiber. It's a tool that hasn't really had any innovation in the high-paced fiber optic industry. And so we took a new look at an old problem and came up with a solution. And so we're just, like I said, manufacturing and distributing them out of Kalispell. We were about almost 2 years old this in October. So we our tool it reaps the cables together, so that's why we call it the Fiber Reaper.
Very cool. So 2 years old. Um, and what we'll talk about the innovation part a little bit down the road and what drove that. But how big are you? Is it just you and your husband, or do you have a team?
I also It's me and my husband and my 13-year-old son is our team. We work with a local manufacturer who makes the metal pieces for us, and then we source all of our 100% of our product is manufactured in the USA. So we assemble them in our home in Kalispell, and then my son is our shipping agent, and he takes them on his bike daily to UPS and ships them out. And so we're still a small operation and able to manage it in house, but hoping soon to expand.
That is a fabulous story of true rural business entrepreneurial spirit. And it's a lazy mom that can't get her kid to work for the family business. I absolutely love that. Rip, you took me back to my early days, riding around on my bike, doing stuff for my dad's business. So that's fantastic. Um, so how proliferated are you? I mean, where are your customers? Where is your customer base? Are they Montana? Are they local? Are they national, international?
Uh, Currently, we're only selling in the United States, and we have sold Reapers nationwide. We have just secured we've just secured 29 international patents in the last couple of months. So we will be expanding internationally in the very near future. I'm hoping the first of the year. There's a lot of hurdles in shipping internationally. So we're learning all of those things the hard way, but coming soon.
Wow. You guys, so your growth trajectory is looking pretty steep right now. Um, so you said you started up 2 years ago. How, how would you say the growth was for that first 2 years to get you to where you are today?
Um, it's it's been steady and growing. Um, when we started, and like I say, this is a tool that every ISP, which is internet service provider, every utility construction company can use when they're doing these expansions. And right now we're on the cusp of the largest broadband expansion in the history of broadband in the United States. They're building fiber to every home in the US. And so the timing was good for us to launch our product. We have, my husband and I have a combined 30 years in the industry. So we've kind of been watching this growth and seeing the need for this simple tool. But the growth has been steady, and as we continued to, we've really created a brand with our fiber reaper, and our goal is to be the industry standard so that we're in every splicing trailer in the country, because we just came up with a simple solution that works for the guys in the field. And, we say it's made by a splicer for a slicer, and having, that when you're using those tools every day and you know what it needs to do, makes it, I don't know what the right word is. We're just looking to solve an everyday problem during, this huge expansion that we're seeing right now.
How how much faster is it than the previously established methodologies?
It's it's one of those things where most splicers have found workarounds, the standard clamp. And so you're taking these huge fiber lines off the telephone poles or putting them on the telephone poles, but it's, hundreds of pounds of cable. And then you're doing precision work on a piece of fiber that is as thin as a piece of hair. So securing that so it doesn't move or shift or jiggle or rip out of the trailer while you're working on it is really important. But, the standard is it's a cable tool, and it has two metal pieces with wing nuts on it, and they're flat metal pieces that are supposed to secure a round cable, and it just doesn't work, and they move and shift, and most splicers don't even use them. They come up with workarounds, and they're using zip ties or other makeshift inventions. And so ours has a strap, it's adjustable, and it can come and contain any configuration of cable or clamp. And so it's simple, but it when you're on the job and they're splicing these huge projects, making it faster and easier and more efficient is, big picture how they're getting these jobs turned around faster and more efficiently. Having the right tools for the job is just part of how we bring high-speed internet to every home.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of process efficiency. It's one of the things that I do and I really key on. Does it work underground as well for in-ground fiber?
Yep, it works for it. The tool goes into the splicing trailers mostly, but it is adjustable to fit on a these guys working in the field are working on in all kinds of weird scenarios and situations. And
I just got baptized last Monday, and I got fiber optic to my house, and I live in a fairly rural environment, so I'm part of the ARPA grant and the initiative you talked about connecting all homes to fiber. And it's been extremely, well, I don't know if life changing. It wasn't a real hallelujah moment, but I did a little happy dance when I stopped having freeze ups and I could do things in 30 seconds that used to take me 15 minutes. So, and I've been watching the infrastructure getting laid aerial and in ground all over Great Falls, Montana. And I saw it down in Idaho Falls as well. And I thought it was a little bit, I didn't feel like it was cutting edge technology. And I feel like this is a much better solution. So hats off to you and your husband for developing this and pushing it out. And I hope it really does turn out. So let's talk real quick about the business element of this. You said you had almost 25 years of experience in this field. beforehand. Was any of it military?
No, sir. My husband started out as a lineman and has done every possible job. I started answering phones at an internet service provider company. And then I was the general manager and marketing director and enterprise sales manager. And, when you're working for small companies, especially in Montana, you wear many hats.
Yeah.
And I think I've learned that lesson even more so in being a business owner. Sometimes I'm IT support, and sometimes I'm sales, and I'm marketing, and all the bookkeeper and everything in between. But our tool can be used by the military. We're working on that, and the Build Back America program, where they're looking for American-made products. That was important to us. I I want to be hyper local and keeping it. We could outsource and make it a little cheaper, but at the end of the day, keeping it American made and made in Montana is really important to our core values.
Right. And man, I really appreciate that. Let's talk just a little bit about the business owner part because I get it. You're the head chef, the chief bottle washer, the sanitation engineer, which means you got to take the garbage out. And if your son's only 13 years old, you're also a transportation engineer, which means you have to take him to soccer, to baseball, and everything else. So you're wearing a ton of hats. So let's talk about the business owner part. Let's talk about the difference between starting a company and being the business owner and running that company. How how do you find that different? Were there surprises for you, or were you ready for it?
Every, yeah, I make jokes, but I like to learn every lesson the hard way. Just no matter how much you plan for certain things, there's always surprises um, and curveballs. My dad owned his own business, and I had before I got into the fiber optic industry, I worked for the Chamber of Commerce. Was the executive director of the Polson Chamber, and so I was connected with a lot of entrepreneurs who I saw the struggle, and owning my own business has always been my goal. And wearing all those many hats when it's your own company is it's a different kind of rewarding. And you never get that rub from from having to put in the extra hours and balancing that. I got to work a 16-hour shift today so that I can be present and disconnected when my son's on the field playing football. That's just, it's part of the gig, and it is the great part of the gig.
Yeah, it's a big lie about entrepreneurship. It's fantastic to own your own business, but everyone out there, if you think you're going to work less and make more, doesn't, it's not quite like that. So be ready. The rewards are
Yep.
great. The rewards are great, but be committed and walk in with your eyes wide open. Last question, because you kind of answered a lot of questions in that last little bit. What is your future plan for expansion, or have you defined it yet?
Yeah, our future, we're looking for international expansion this next year. That's this big, huge step that we're looking to take. Um, and there's just so much to it that I'm learning, and I had no idea. And there's different rules for shipping and the different licenses you have to have, and the cost of shipping, one versus 50.
What countries are you keying on? What countries and regions?
So the EU and Canada and Mexico are the where we have our first initial patent. And so those are, we've done some work in Canada. We're so close, and we have a lot of partner or sister companies that, here in Montana, especially where we're at in Kalispell, that work right over the border. But you know, the, it's a new beast. We were really lucky to get some funding through the Montana Department of Commerce Export Office, and so they gave us some assistance to start pursuing those international patents, and then work with us to help establish and vet companies or distributors that you're looking at in those different areas. So we were lucky doing business in Montana that the state has already set up with some of those resources and support to help us kind of take the next steps. Because if you don't know what you don't know is one of the hard lessons, I think. And I don't always know what questions I need to ask because I haven't learned those hard lessons yet. And so having those resources available has been huge for us, getting through the process of taking our product to market and really expanding.
I can't wait to see what you guys do next. It's fantastic, and I love the made in Montana, made in the United States, and I love the innovation um, and the commitment to process improvement. It's great. Um, One last question, just because I have to. Are there any follow-on products to this that you guys are looking at? Have you identified anything in addition to this initial?
We we actually have two products that we're working on, but I can't tell you about them
I was going to say,
because
I was going to interrupt you and say, don't give it away. I just want to know. So,
we learn, through the patent process, you can't say things publicly because then that starts your clock on when you can file. So we do have two other products, not for the fiber optic construction industry, that not the same sort of thing, a little different, we're looking to solve problems for the guys in the field to make their jobs easier, because that's what we do. That's where our passion lies, and so that's what we're looking at. And we do have more coming down the pipeline.
standing still is dangerous, folks. Always keep looking at what your next step is. All right, Amber, any
Absolutely.
parting shots before we sign off?
No, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Check these guys out. Check out their website. Check out their product. It's really cool. It looks dead sexy, but it's also incredibly practical. You'll appreciate the simplicity of it. It is truly made by linemen for linemen and the people in the field. So, as a guy who spent a lot of time in the field, I really like that. So, Amber, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. For everybody, we'll see you on the next Business Journey Explored. Take care.